Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 12th round of Season 4 Neo Racing League Division Alpha. We are here at Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the final sprint race of the season. The 2.6 mile circuit contains 14 turns, 4 to the left and 10 to the right, with 2 DRS zones completing the circuit. It rejoined the calendar back in 2021, having hosted 36 F1 Grand Prix across all its iterations of the circuit. It has had an illustrious list of race winners like Fangio, Moss, Clark, Hunt, Lauda, PK, Prost, and current reigning world champion Max Verstappen at his very home circuit. In Neo, we have raced here back in Season 2, where Marchmeister claimed his first and only victory in Neo. Can he repeat the feat tonight? We'll have to find out. I am your commentator, Jamie Jackson, and I am in the commentary box all solo tonight for this more action-packed evening of racing. Yeah, that's right, sprint weekend is upon us. That means it's all short, fast and spicy at that one. But before we get into all the action that you're seeing on our screens now, let's head to what we need to discuss from last week. Last week we saw Shoot Fizzle, our championship leader, take the race victory at Portugal, and head of championship rivals Gary Gator in second, Speed Queen in third, both of the top two having a almighty performance last weekend out. Behind the podium sitters we have Rupsi Cola, then Marchmeister, not the Marchmeister, Marcel, Jens, Burl, Marchmeister, this guy Neo, and Sakura rounding out the top 10. This leads us to the Drivers' Championship now. Shoot Fizzle leads the way by 20 points over rival Speed Queen. 8 points behind that is Gary Gator, putting the championship free with 28 points between them with 3 races to go. And the most points out of those 3 races can be scored tonight. Behind them, Rusicola on 98, just 15 points clear of JPS. And then behind him is Marchmeister in 6th, Vakuli in 7th, this guy Neo in 8th. Handplap Kelly in 9th, and Funny Wave Band rounding out that top 10 as we go to the constructors now. This is how it all looks as it gets closer and closer at that top, with Aston Martin on one, who have led the constructors for all but 1 or 2 races this season. 167 points for them, with just 39 points. No, sorry, ignore me. 46 points. Sorry, I've read it the wrong way. 46 points ahead of Mercedes, and then a little bit further behind that is the now realistically top tier duo in the Red Bull seats of Gary and Speed Queen. Those two looking to take away at least the constructors' title, if not the driver's title, from Shoot Fizzle and Ham Flap Kelly. Behind them is Sauber in P4, with Williams just 2 points behind them in P5. Haas 6th, RB 7th, Alpine 8th, with Ferrari in ninth, 3 points clear of McLaren in plumb last. Those three teams at the bottom have been fighting it out all season to not be at the bottom of the table. As we now get into our sprint qualifying session, shortened session, but more action, and certainly not short of it. Shoot Fizzle leads the way ahead of Gary Gator. We need to split track to the actual scene. There we go. Ahead of Gary Gator by just over 1/10 of a second, if that, as the two at the top just have a fair advantage over Handclap Kelly with 1 minute 10.1 himself. JPS behind them. JC, and then Conscious Soda 368 are the 6 drivers who have set a lap time. We've been told that it is the Williams duo's home Grand Prix of Quackmelly and Ripsy Cola. The two brothers have their home Grand Prix tonight. Can they make the most of it? But with the confidence of certain drivers like Gary and Shoot, it looks like it's going to be a difficult one for the fellas, but we wish them the best of luck. Marcel goes into P2, 1 minute 9.931. Had excellent qualifying pace, took pole position last time out in Portugal. Can he repeat the feat tonight? We'll have to wait and see. We've got a couple more drivers out on track. Let's go on board with a man who's currently got a red Ferrari right in front of him, getting very close to that Scuderia. Luckily, no contact was made. We'll go on board though with the Ripsy Cola, the Williams of Ripsy Cola. I was about to say the Ripsy Cola driver of Williams, but here we are. He's going through sector 2 now. Can the Williams on the medium compound of tyre put in a decent run? Looking to just use that medium to get some sort of relevant idea of where their pace is, as well as where the confidence and the grip is as well. We have him going round the final break point and now round the final corner. Where does Ripsy Cola go? Up towards the line. We'll keep an eye on his time. He goes on 1 minute 10.6, puts himself 800ths behind JPS, but fairly far off, nearly, well, actually over a second at the moment off Shoot. But that medium tyre run is certainly going to be effective. If Shoot's done that on mediums, well, good luck to the rest of you, because he seems extremely confident heading into this weekend. We've currently got Marchmeister, one of the drivers who's yet to set a lap time. 5 drivers, including his teammate as well, who haven't. But I Am Green Gator will not be setting a lap time. This session, I believe, had left, and unfortunately it had cost him his chance to set a lap time. Luckily, he hasn't got long to wait. He's only got just under 5 minutes to go of the session. That's how quick we're thinking. We're already 2/3 of the way into this session almost, so we're gonna see whether that has an effect on people's run plans or anything. And I've just been told by Shoot that was on mediums. Typical Shoot. He is absolutely on it tonight. You've messed up that. All right then, mate. Let's see what you can do. On softs for clean lap. I'll be absolutely invested on you later on. We're gonna see. As we go up to line, Marchmeister up to line 10.5, puts himself P5, and we'll see. And that's on the mediums as well. These drivers looking to just get themselves some banker. I'm pressing the wrong button. We're gonna have Speed Queen on the intermediates. Clearly, just try. Just not really wanting to use that set of tyres up. We need to quickly get ourselves a map of Zandvoort up, actually. As we now go into the final parts of the session, we've got Quackmelly, the other home driver of the Williams duo, the younger brother of Ripsy Cola. Can he get himself into a good position for the sprint race? Remember, the sprint race has a certain a little change in the points, I should say. It's a little bit more reduced than what you see in real life F1. It's a 5-to-1 system rather than an 8-to-1 system. So it's 5 for first, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth. In this session, so it will be a very, very different strategic mindset for some of the drivers, because you're not getting points to 8th and 7th. So even though these drivers will want to fight as hard as they physically can, they will not want to cause any sort of crash out, because if they can capitalise later on with one of the top 5 crashing out, absolutely take that. So we'll see whether they can manage to keep their wits about them while also trying to get the way up the field if you are further down the order. We've currently got 2 minutes or so to go. We've got JPS currently out on track, currently on an in-lap, I believe. No, on an actual lap, maybe, I think. We'll continue on. No, they're going for a double out lap. That's fine. So see if JPS can use that to its advantage to get a couple of times. So I'm not even going to bother saying any of them names in for the circuit name, the corner names. I'll just call them through 1 to 14. So we'll go. So we'll leave it at that. So currently our top time sheets are Shoot Vessel leading away ahead of Marcel, Gary Gator, and Black Kelly, and yes, JC. Round out of top 5 ahead of Marchmeister, a couple temps behind them. JPS, Oopsie Cola, Soda, and David ran out our top 10 with this guy Neo and Quick Melly being the only other drivers to set a time. With Wheelo and Speed Queen, yep, Speed Queen, not yet set a time with 1 minute 50 seconds to go, and Speed Queen's not even out on track. Is that a sign of things? We are going to go on board with the man of the hour, with the man who thinks he can take pole, the man who really wants to take pole. He's going to have a bit of a challenge because Marcel looks to be on it. DRS enabled, not using that ERS anytime yet, or is he going to wait until he gets another outlap? It'll be a double outlap for the Aston Martin driver and our championship leader. We'll see whether we can do that. Soda has retired from the session. I wonder where that is. Has he done that on track? Yes, he's gone off at turn 3, sorry. As that is very reminiscent of a Danny Rick moment from the McLaren. He's out of the session, currently P10. It looks maybe to drop further. We'll see. That is a very unfortunate thing for the Papaya car. Gary Gator 9.0 on the softs, 4 tenths quicker than what Shoot done on the mediums, but a very confident Aston Martin could be the could certainly change things up. They've got a lot of drivers in that sector 3 region as well, though, that have not, who are kind of all together, and this is not where you want to be if you're any of these drivers, because you've got to try and be careful of one another. Shay will end his session in P7. Meanwhile, while a Ferrari of Marcel and goes off the circuit, trying to fight with one of the Williamses of Rupsi Cola, and that is not what you want to be seeing if you're any of them. So we'll go with Shoot Fizzle now into turn 1. He's going to go for a full flyer on softs. We'll see whether he can get how fast he can go. This is his last chance in the session. We're going to see Speed Queen as well, see what they can manage. Can they beat Gary's time? Bit of a lock up there into turn 3. Is that go? That's going to really affect Shoot all the way down the straight now, because he hasn't optimised the line, because he'll go through turn 4, 5 and 6 and into turn 7, finally hitting a braking point of some description, not even a braking point, lift off at best, into turn 8 and then 9, another lock up of that front right. Keeps the car turned in though. Looks quite pointy in the sense of managing just to get the car turned in quite nicely through turn 10 now and down towards turn 11. The DRS zone all the way out to there. Brake about just after 100 metres into the chicane now. Bounce across that curb. Got a little bit wide. Does maybe a bit of undulation not quite helping him as he goes into now turn 13, the final braking point. Misses the apex slightly. Not the cleanest of laps from the Aston Martin. But is it enough to go pole? Up to the line now, DRS, ERS, up to line 8.9, just hundredths quicker than Gary, 2 tenths clear of Speed Queen, and that is qualifying for these drivers all over. JPS will not be setting another lap, so I keep pressing the wrong button, and that is qualifying over with Shoot Fizzle on pole for the sprint, 1 minute 8.9, and I do not say he has a little bit more time in that. As much as some people will not want to be hearing that, he certainly does. Shoot on pole, Gary second, the Red Bull team out of him, Speed Queen in 3rd, Marcel 4th, Marchmeister 5th, Rupsi Cola 6th, and Bob Kelly 7th with Yes JC in 8th, David 9th, JPS 10th, followed by this guy Neo in 11th, Soda in 12th, as well as Queckmelly in 13th, and I am Green Gamer in last place. I'm wrong, because he's not last place, is he? Because there's supposed to be another 2 drivers here. yeah, so there's another two. There's Wheelo and Viculi, so the two RBs haven't set times as well. So with that in mind, a couple drivers on the mediums as well on their laps, so they've got some time to gain on their final runs. Especially we're going to go into the have a bit more time in the session to manage it. We'll see whether they can all do so. But it's time for a sprint race. It's going to be fast-paced action and a chance for the drivers to see how everything will work around here. Because if there's going to be drivers who have done tons of practice and know the circuit inside out, know exactly how the fuel loads work, how much fuel you need to put in, how the track evolves over the course of a sprint session or a race session, even in any way, shape or form, it can absolutely make the difference. We're going to quickly see as we go to the grid. Can anyone I believe everyone will go for the soft compound of tyres, maybe a couple medium runners of JPS and this guy Neo, as well as Soda on the mediums, everyone else on the softs, as I think they may all switch over to the mediums. Not the most confident on those softs. They might be difficult to get to the end. So we are now going to go to the sprint race. We've got a couple of drivers switching over to the mediums, including Gary Gayer and JPS, the two Mercedes, JPS and Neo, and Soda in the McLaren. We're just going to have everyone else kind of decide and just give yourself an opportunity to work themselves out as we go to the grid. Got a brief moment. We'll just quickly wait to see as everyone else actually switches over to the mediums now. Got David joining him as Gary decides to go back to the softs in their last moment. We're on the formation lap for the sprint race. There we go. So that's that one. We're on the formation lap for the sprint race with half the field on mediums, half the field on softs. Rupsikola being the highest placed medium runner, top 5 on mediums, followed by the Williams, and then Hamplap Kelly on the softs as well, followed by a group of medium runners which he really does not want to get stuck behind. He will want to get past Rupsikola as quickly as possible in order to make sure he can keep up with the chasing, keep up with the leading pack, as well as pull away from this group, because if once their tyres start to go, the mediums will certainly come back into play. As we now go round the outlap, and we just see what happens here. We just now have no stops, just full flat out racing. As we're running out of things to talk about, we've spoke about pretty much everything. So now we'll go to the 5 red lights in a very short moment. The field being backed up quite nicely as we go into the chicane. For the last time before the race, before any on-track action commences. 3 rounds to go in the Neo Racing League season. This is our final sprint race of the year. Can Shoot round out the final sprint race with a sprint win? Can Gary do the same? Can anyone else follow him? Can a bit of chaos be sprinkled into it? We'll have to see. Got 16 drivers. And we've got a lot of drivers who are weaving so much they almost end up in the pit lane. As we're going to all obviously get the worst camera angle known to man as people decide to spin the lead carb. That's now reset. So we are now got 16 drivers lining up on the grid for the Netherlands sprint race. As we will now get the game loaded, and it will be time for the 12-lap sprint race. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Dutch sprint race. It's lights out and away we go. Pretty even start from all the front runners. As we go down towards turn 1, there's a bit of a side-by-side action between Gary and Marcel. Gary defends that one quite beautifully, but the Speed Queen has jumped ahead of his Red Bull teammate, as now Shoot Vissel will lead the way ahead of the 2 Red Bulls. Around the outside goes Rupsikola, trying to make a move around there. He can't quite do it, but he's made a move on Marchmeister. I've been screamed at by Windows security, and now we're going to continue on down towards the right hand, and now flat out road there, almost in modern F1 cars with the downforce that they produce on that underfloor. and through into the rest of Sector 2. It is now the top three pulling away from Marcel and Co. Can Rupsikola keep up with him? He's on the medium compound tyres. He's trying to defend from Marchmaster, but he is unable to Marchmaster's unable to do anything in form of attack, as Hamplap Kelly goes a little bit wide there on the chicane, not quite having the opportunity there to make any sort of move on the Haas. We now end lap 1 of the 12, as 12 tours of the sprint race. Is Shoot Fizzle, who leads the way, who's about to go side by side with Speed Queen. Up the inside goes the Red Bull. There's a bit of a back end switch from the Aston Martin. Contact there between the two. The Aston Martin goes off the road and now has dropped the position to Gary Gator, who's now going to be looking to try and make a move on the teammate of Speed Queen, and now is trying to do some defence against the Aston Martin. Can Shoot Fizzle do something to regain the positions on the two flying balls? No, they cannot, as the green machine has to now just sit behind and try and work against a double team, and with a Scuderia certainly hunting them down. A bit of a flashing light there on the back end, trying to recharge some of that battery, and at the moment we're going to go DRS down towards the chicane, as Gary looking to defend, can't as Shoot Fizzle cannot do too much. Gary couple temps ahead behind now of Speed Queen, as maybe the Red Bulls will play a bit of the team game here, try and get themselves both closer. A couple points, even a couple points, a point or two will make all the difference. If they could get Marceau ahead, even better. DRS for the two, for the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. Bit of contact there from Shoot Fizzle as he forces Gary to try and defend and attack at the same time. He doesn't want to be doing that too often, as Shoot tries to take a different line there to try and maximise the exit. Back end does slip out quite a bit there, as we now go down towards the right-hander. JPS has retired from the session, and so has Soda in the pit lane. And that is their days done for the sprint race. Both of them believe having some form of damage. We are now going through Sector 2 once more. Can the Aston Martin of Shoot Fizzle get by and try and get ahead of his rivals? He wants to try and end this championship as quickly as possible. He won't be able to do it tonight. He could do it next week in Baku. As we go through turn 11 and turn 12, Shoot trying to make some sort of impression on the Red Bull, but he's not close enough. He's got a chance now through the banking. This will help as it will almost slingshot the Red Bulls into view. As now Gary's going to go side by side with Speed Queen. Gary into P1. Speed Queen having to defend around the outside. Goes Shoot Fizzle. Can he make the move on Speed Queen? Not quite. They're going to go side by side into turn 2, maybe turn 3. Shoot up the inside, trying to make labour, couldn't quite do it. As we see Speed Queen now trying to defend, gets the run on the outside, does so, and they keep the position just. But Gary now leads the way. The Red Bulls continue to have that 1-2, but Shoot is fighting an absolute uphill battle now, because he knows the second he makes a mistake, that Scuderia of Marcel is going to be absolutely on him, because that Ferrari is right with the drivers. 4 drivers, all on the soft compound of tyres, followed by the medium runner of Ripsicola, who could potentially come back into this race if he has the opportunity to use up that tyre deck later on. If these guys push each other too hard, it could become a nuisance. Contact between Speed Queen and Shoot Fizzle. Shoot running into the back of that rear tyre of Speed Queen. He will now have DRS, but so will Speed Queen. Speed Queen will want to be careful though, because he will now have to be defensive. As now here comes Shoot. Shoot flies by not just one but potentially 2 Red Bulls. Speed Queen caught a bit napping there. As now around the outside goes Gary. Is this the move? Pushing hard each other, leaning against each other, just about defending, but unfortunately for the Red Bulls, it is going to be the Aston Martin 2P1. That is excellent stuff there from Shoot. He took his opportunity when Speed Queen was caught taking it easy. Took the opportunity on not just 1 but 2. That is excellent stuff there. As we now see the fight between the top 4 continue on. Meanwhile, Marchmeister has got the head of Ripsicola down that same straight, finally getting past the medium runner that was once That was once in front of him, side by side between two Red Bulls. Speed Queen moves his stairway back up to P2. Gary looking to try and help the his teammate back on the hunt. As Speed Queen now goes through that final breaking point and that final corner. Can he do anything? Can they do anything? Can Shoot do anything in defence against that charging Red Bull? Once more, neither of them can do anything against the Aston Martin, who looks like he's fighting an uphill battle in all ways possible. But it's now turned a 4-way fight into a 8-way fight. We've got Shoot Fizzle leading Speed Queen, Gary, Marcel, Marchmaster, Rootsy Cola, and Black Kelly, and David. That is our top 8. The only top 5 do get points, and can they manage it? We will go into turn 8 and turn 9, and we'll look to see if they can do anything. Can the Red Bulls do anything in contrast to Shoot Fizzle's attack? Can they bounce back, or will it be another points extension by even a point or two over their rivals? But they do still have the overall points gain in the constructors standings, which is the most crucial. We go into the final break point, the penultimate corner, now into the final corner. Shoot taking a little bit of a wider entry into the banking, which will give him the ultimate speed. But the DRS, the slipstream, the ERS usage from Speed Queen to the outside, fakes to the left, fakes to the right, dives to the left, takes the outside line, tries to make the attack, does not make anything work. Shoot covered that off in just an easy enough way that he did not have to do too much defence in that sense. We now go through up towards turn 7. It's such a difficult corner to do anything into because it's so high speed. These drivers will be trying to take it as flat out as possible. Lock up there from Shoot Fizzle as maybe the pressure is beginning to mount. We are over the halfway stage of the sprint race. Can Speed Queen do anything to bounce back against that Aston Martin? The British Racing Green leads the way. There's a bit of a yellow flag. That will be Vekuli, who's gone off the circuit, and that is not what you want to be seeing if you are that RB who's now going to get passed by I Am Green Gamer, who isn't having the best of races themselves. We are going to go down towards turn 1. Can Speed Queen get by again to the inside? They will go. Will they make any sort of move up the inside? Repeat of what we had a few laps ago. Can Speed Queen do anything in attack? No, they cannot. As we're going to go and see Hamplap Kenny trying to go side by side with Rupsi Cola. Can Rupsi Cola defend? There's a bit of contact there between the Aston Martin and the Williams. That sends Hamplap Kenny very much wide. Lets David go through. As we now see these 3 drivers trying to attack each other. Rupsi Cola on the mediums. I'm not exactly sure what the other 2 are on. They are David on the mediums, Hamplap Kelly on the soft compound of tyres. Those softs will begin to age soon. But will it be too little, too late? We pressed the wrong button there. There we go. We're now going to see whether Rupsi Cola can pull away from David, who's now going to have to defend from Hamplap Kelly, who is on the softs, but will be trying desperately to try and make that position back. At the moment, it is not looking likely, as we're going to see David has a little different line there from the Williams, but is unable to do much. We should see David taking to the inside. We need a double screen right now. There's a bit of grass there for the Sauber, not able to try and do anything there. As we go into turn 1, there isn't a battle for the lead at the moment, as we see the battle for P6 continue to unfold, as David, the mystery machine, just trying to find a way by, went so far to the inside that he caught that inside grass of the banking, and that ultimately cost him in overall speed, and that left him in the left him bone dry for a brief moment. He's still in P7, but can he make it by the Williams in his home race? We'll have to. He only got a couple laps left to do so. A bit wide there from Hamplap Kelly. Goes off the circuit and into the wall. That is full front wing damage. And that is not what you ought to be doing if you're the Aston Martin driver. Not just a dent in your position, but a dent in significant confidence. As if that was this normal point system, that would be out. That would be another point lost for Aston Martin. Unfortunate there for Hamplap Kelly. will have to come in and fix that front wing and try again in the main race. We go back to the race leaders now. Shoot Fizzle will lead the way, but for how much longer? Speed Queen in that slipstream has that DRS. Is there any opportunity for a move for the Red Bull to the outside? Gets a bit, tries to dive it around the outside, turns it a bit too early. Both have contact. We've seen that multiple times this season. Both getting away with it though. Into the lead goes the Red Bull Speed Queen. Excellent stuff from the Red Bull. Can they keep ahead of Shoot Fizzle, or is it Shoot's time to strike with only 3 laps to go? It is running out of time for the Aston Martin, because that they want to keep that gap, if not extend that gap by the sprint's end, by this weekend's end, so they can certainly wrap it up come next week. But the Speed Queen looks to have babied their tires a little bit more, because they're not shocking nearly as much as Shoot Fizzle. We're going to go round the hairpin now. Is it opportunity for Shoot to make their comeback, or is it not quite into the chicane, but it's still remaining very, very close as we go into turn 12 and exiting that now down towards turn 13, the final breaking point, as we go onto the banking of turn 14. DRS for the Aston Martin. Will they make the move, or will Speed Queen be able to defend? Both of them using up all their battery possible to try and make something work. Down towards turn 1. Shoot to the outside. Speed Queen to the inside. Can they make the move? Stick. Otherwise it will be costly for either driver, because they only have a limited amount of time. Shoot Fizzle takes the lead, and that is opportunity. But a lock up there has cost him dearly, because that's going to run him wide, and that is not going to be seen, because that front right tyre will be ultimately costing him. Goes a bit wide there through the S's of turn 5 and turn 6, but unfortunately for Speed Queen, nothing to be able to be done, because this track is so tight that it's almost impossible to overtake in some areas. As we now go into turn 9 and now turn 10. That's Gary in the wall. Gary's out of the race. That is absolutely crucial as we go by now. It's just got to be careful of that stricken Red Bull. And that is now turned the fight for the lead into a 1v1 between Speed Queen and Shoot Fizzle. We are very lucky to see Rupsicola get away. It is so close to that Red Bull. And that's what it cost him. Up the inside goes yes to the J to the C. As we now see Rupsicola lose out on P4, potentially losing out on P5. We go on to the final lap now. We're going to have much myself for company, but someone who is going to have someone else for company is Shoot Fizzle and Gary Gator, side by side between the Alpine and the Williams. Rupsicola to the full front some more. Is that all she wrote for the Williams and the Alpine? It's going to continue to fight as we go down through the end final lap of the race. Damage for the Williams is certainly not helping in his case, as the Alpine with a full front wing looking to try and make it, but the Williams is trying to limp home to the outside. Goes the Alpine and tries to make a move as JC not able to do anything there, but it is very difficult for that Williams, whose tyres must be screaming right now. To the inside goes the Alpine. Very late mud, very opportunistic, but nothing to be worth it. The Williams has tried and defended, and at the moment has looked like they have done everything they need to, as long as they can get through these last couple corners. A bit wide there for the Williams. This is going to be an opportunity for the Alpine to try and make something of it. We're going to have to go back to the race lead, because we come up to the line and we see Shoot Fizzle win the sprint race, 2 tenths clear of Speed Queen, Marcel and P3. We're going to see up to the line. Here comes Rupsicola. Here comes JC to the line. Rupsicola beats JC to the line by 200ths of a second. Arch Russell comes home in the 6th place. David in 7th. This guy Neo in 8th. Quick Melly will come home in 9th. I am Green Gainer will come home in 10th, with the RBs in 11th and 12th. Gary, Hampup, Kelly, Soda and JPS all not finishing the race. Gary, who was running P3, ultimately cost himself 5. Now made the point, rather than 2 points to shoot in this race, 5 points, and that is championship levels of costly. We see Shoot Fizzle has won a barn burner of a sprint race. Will we have a repeat for a 36 lap race to come in a moment? We will just be able to find out, as it is almightily close between Speed Queen and Shoot Fizzle, and Gary. Marcel dropping off towards the end, but it was still close nonetheless. We will now have a 18-minute quali session to go ahead. Can the Aston Martin repeat what they done in the sprint, take pole, take victory? It's only a matter of time. We've got an exciting session to come up with us. 5 points to Shoot Fizzle, 4 points to Speed Queen, 3 points to Marcel, 2 points for Rupsicola, 1 point to JC. That's our points bank. It's just time for where all the biggest number of points and the longer race, the race that we've all been waiting for, where strategy is involved, and as well where a bit more endurance is involved. The sprint race is gone. It's time for the feature, the round 12, and now the final sprint race of the season is done. It is just 57 points, 60 points actually, because you've got to accrue fast laps. So 60 points now on offer at the end of the season on maximum. We'll try and see whether they can manage it. I need to turn my lights 1 second. Oh. We'll now begin to wait for everyone to come out the pit lane. 18-minute session is a go. Everyone just gets himself ready, gets himself settled in for a quali session. After having some racing, you've now got to set yourself back in for 1 lap races. So, with those results in mind, we'll have a quick look to see what everyone's right, where everyone is in the standings. So Shoot Fizzle will be on 148 points now, ahead of Speed Queen on 127 now. 21 points between the two of them. Gary, stuck on 115, will now be even further behind than what they already were. And that is very, very disappointing for Gary, who wanted to try and get Speed Queen the title anyway in this later part of the season, but still had the opportunity to do it themselves, and it has just almost gone up in smoke, as chances remain very, very minimal. So for 60 points in mind, I believe that puts only the top 5 in the standings now. 55. So yes, just everyone from March Rice down is now out of the Drivers' Championship hunt. We've just got Shoot Fizzle, Speed Queen, Gary Gator, Rupsicola, and JPS all mathematically in it. But really, it is down to 2, because unless Shoot has an almightily horrid last 3 races, Speed Queen has some downright bad luck as well in a couple of them. Gary, Rupsicola, and JPS are going to have would have a lot of work to do and get a couple of wins in there as well. And that is and no fault of their own is very, very difficult task. This is probably the highest level of competition we have had in a Neo Racing League season since we have begun, and the highest level of pace we will have seen, and it will only get faster with this being the last season on this game. We'll be heading to F1 2025, where everything will kind of almost reset, because you've got to get, even though the hand model we believe will probably be very similar, that there is some changes in that sense. So and everyone will have an opportunity maybe to adjust with the tracks. Some of the tracks changing quite significantly as well, and how they are made. You'll find that you might enjoy some tracks more than others for all the various changes. Even game to game, you might just find some various changes. We see Handlap Kenny coming up to the line now to end their first lap of the session at 1 minute 9.9 for the Aston Martin. Puts the time on the board, and now who can beat that? We're going to see Shoot Fizzle up to line. 1 minute 9.1. It goes 8 tenths quicker than their teammate. We can see everyone now up to the line. We're seeing a load of drivers put in some times. 9.8 for JC, 10.6 for JPS, and 11.2 for the McLaren. But we'll see who can top Shoot Fizzle's time. It looks quite difficult. If Gary, if you say you're out of it, you can never say it. As far mathematically, it's still there. You'll just have to see. You've got 3 races. All you got to do is try your best. At the end of the day, anything is possible. We've seen Shoot retire. We've seen Speed Queen retire this season. It can happen, and anything is possible in these 3 races. We'll have to see. We could end up with a surprise race winner this week. We might not. We might end up with one of the usuals. We could end up with a first time race winner at any point as well. So it is all the opportunity for these drivers to try and get a decent time, get a decent race. Every race is a new chance to reset. Because you don't know what everyone else's pace is at times. Because you might have an old good pace here. You might have shocking pace, but everyone else might have even worse pace. So you could find yourself in a good position. It could also be down to luck. So everyone needs a bit of luck on their side. Someone's got to have bad luck. We've seen that already this season. But we'll see whether that has the opportunity. Whether that will rear its ugly head once more. We don't like bad luck, but if it comes and it makes the championship fight more interesting, I'm certainly not going to deny it. We see Wheelo, who's been currently on a lap, and I believe had a bit of an error there, and will now come into the pit and will not finish their flying lap. We now see Rubsicola currently on a lap going through the final braking point and now rounding the banking, where does the Williams want to put themselves currently on the medium compound tyres as well. So we'll see. That will have quite a bit of an effect. A 10.7 puts himself just a tenth behind the Mercedes of JPS and 3 tenths clear of this guy Neo. 7 drivers yet to set a lap time. Made that 6 as Marcel's just crossed the line and put himself in P2 as Shoot Fizzle goes even faster with an 8.9, which is magnificent in every sense of scale. The gap is 8 tenths of a second. Shoot was comfortable, but is it possible? Gary currently into the chicane now of turn 11 and turn 12, rounding that elongated part of it as we go into turn 13. Can Gary get anywhere near Shoot Fizzle like he did in sprint qualifying, or is Shoot's pace just too immense? In not just qualifying in general, Shoot pace has been absolutely mega. 9.5 for the Red Bull, as we see a couple other drivers yet to set lap times. We currently have, I believe, Soda currently on an out lap of some, maybe, I don't know, might be. No, he's on a recharge lap. So we'll see a couple of drivers also on recharge laps. As who is actually even on a lap? I don't even know. Rubsicola isn't on another lap. Nope, they've just finished another lap. So 10.7 still for the Williams ahead of Soda and teammate Quick Melee, who have also set laps. And we've got 5 drivers yet to set a time yet. Neo currently on a lap, I do, but about to start a lap. We'll go on with Neo. We haven't had an on-board lap with Leo this season, so we'll take the opportunity to do so. Round it, if they're going for a lap, they might not be. No, never mind, they're going to pit lane. Alright then, Neo. Who can we take for the on-board lap? Marchmeister is on a lap. We're going to see them go through Sector 2 now, and through Turn 8 and Turn 9. Can the Haas get themselves up the order? The only driver to win at this circuit in Neo back in season 2. Can they repeat it? It will be an opportunity. It will be certainly an opportunity to do so. The only time Marchmeister has won here in Neo. Can the founder of the league do so? Rounding that final corner now, rounding that banking, gets on that grass on the inside. That will not help because you lose grip as well when you scrub off speed. 10.1 for the Haas, puts herself just 2 tenths behind Hamlet Kelly, but quite far clear of the rest of the pack, the chasing pack. The Haas just looking to try and do something, and try and be the only driver to have a win at the circuit. I don't think there's many circuits where we've had a driver win on twice before, and no other driver, twice or more, and no other driver win. We'll start to see more circuits appear next season as well. So we start to get to our points where we get third or fourth time race winners of the circuit. But the league's still in its early phases. I say that it's been around for over a year now, but it's still in its early in league years. It's still in its early phases. 10.0 there for David. As the Sauber puts himself into P6, but the league will certainly be growing, and the racing will only get faster and more intense. And closer as well. Marcel currently on a yellow flag. I wonder if they're just recharging the battery. At this point, we see Wheelo on an invalidated lap, and I believe will not be starting their following lap. We will have Shoot Fizzle currently on a lap. We're going to go on board with Shoot as we go through the hairpin now of turn 3. Now, that's just a flat run all the way up to turn 7, but you go through turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. You've got to keep on the ERS into turn 7. Shift it down a gear to get the revs up and maximise the speed as we go into turn 8 and now into turn 9. A bit of a lock up on that front right. Gets a bit of a slapper, or a bit more of a slapper. Gets a whole tank slapper as we go through turn 9 and into turn 10. Will we continue on that? No, he decides to back out as Shoot just keeping it alive. But if that was a retirement, that would have been all of a sudden everyone chasing for that fastest lap in the last 8 minutes, while the Aston Martin was vulnerable. We see JPS currently on maybe a out lap. We'll see whether they can go for a full flyer or whether they decide to come into the pits. I believe based on their ERS, yeah, they're coming into the pits, so no one will be out on track. As we've got just 7.5 minutes to go, everyone will be waiting for that last bit. And I say that we will not just have any driver out on track. We will have I am Green Gamer in P14 currently. I've pressed the wrong button. Yeah, so the two horses are going to go out on a lap. I'm Grim Gamer and Marchmeister will be the drivers on track next. We're followed by Red Bull behind them. We'll see whether Green Gamer can put time on the board. I'm not sure why they were. I believe they had some sort of issue in Q1. Yeah, they left, didn't they? So therefore, they were not able to set a lap time. Can the Haas now get themselves into a good position for the race? 13 drivers have set a lap time. 3 of them, including the Haas in front, on our screens, has not set a timing, as well as Wheelo and Speed Queen, who are all on track, as well as Gary and Marchmeister, as everyone will now come out the pits after a brief moment where no one was really on track. We're going to go round the final corner, DRS enabled. Here comes the Haas. What will they do for a lap? We go down towards turn 1 as the Haas will find their braking point into that first corner, banking there as well. A lot of one of the few circuits with so much undulation that you truly notice it. There's a bit of a lag there. Oh, and that's a bit of a back end loss there. On to turn 3. The rear brakes did not enjoy that one as Green Gamer, unfortunately for him, just loses out on what could have been a half decent lap. Will continue on though, and with that back end loss will not give quite up on their lap as we go through turn 8 and turn 9. The Haas still valid lap time though, so they may just want to try and see if they can, how far they can push the car now throughout the rest of the lap as we go down towards turn 11 and turn 12. Can the Haas get anywhere decent? Apparently it's 4 to 6 to 2. I'll be interested to know whether that was quite true. We're going to see a bit of a back end loss there as the Haas pushes the car to its very limit as we go up to the line. Back end loss. That's quite a bit of lag there from the Haas as we go up to the line at 1 minute 13.7. That really cost him that first sector. As we now see Marcel go on to a flying lap. We'll stick with Marcel throughout his lap. We've got just under 5 minutes to go as we go through turn 1. So he goes for another outlap. Okay, so we'll go with Marchmeister, who's also on another outlap. Is anyone not on an outlap? Because that'd be nice. Got Speed Queen currently going through the chicane now The Red Bull looking to try set their first time of the session as we go into the turn 13 and around turn 14. Can Speed Queen find the time to get close to shoot Fizzle up to the line at 9.2, 3/10 off of that Aston Martin of Shoot, who set his time about 5 minutes earlier in the session, and maybe even close to 10 by the time you think about it. And that is very, very impressive from the championship leader, who was supremely confident for all the right reasons as well, as Gary has gone off the circuit on the exit of turn 8, and as well as so is the V car behind him of Wheelo. Wheelo has joined him in the gravel. Maybe not really any time to play sandcastles, ladies and gents. It's kind of the middle of a qualifying session, so you don't really want to be doing that too often if you're even them two drivers. But that will certainly have cost them whatever lap they were on, plus maybe their tyres as well. David will come through the chicane, currently on the lap. The mystery machine, certainly still with us now, even though Gary has been shipped off to Red Bull. Can David put the mystery machine into a very, very good place as we go up to the line, keeping as close to that inside barrier as possible, minimising the run? P4 for David, 9.6 for the mystery machine as the kicks out. Does a very, very decent job. We're going to see JPS going up to the line. Can they make the improvements necessary to jump ahead of any of their rivals? P7 for the Mercedes, just ahead of Handflap Kelly, who is still in the pit lane. We're going to see as Viculi starts their flying lap. JC will start theirs as well. As Marcel goes wide into the barriers, that will cost them their front wing, and that is very lucky not to be a complete wipeout of the session. Marcel will quickly dive into pits, maybe trying to go get that front wing changed and go maybe one more time if possible. But the Ferrari will only have one opportunity to do so. HBL. C. Who is currently on a lap? We see JPS currently on an in lap, so it'll be Viculi who will be the next driver to set a lap time. Can the RB get themselves inside that top 10? Just 100th up in sector 2. We'll need to find some more time to get into that top 10, let alone firmly into it. As we now go round into turn 13 and into turn 14, the V-Carb looking to try and get themselves make it at least one RB into that top 10. Yes, they do. 10th and a half quicker for the time being. Puts themselves P10. Maybe have a time to get one more recharge in and then go again. We see JC, I believe, going for has finished the lap at 9.8 for their time. Marcel has decided to retire in the pit lane. That's P5 at best for the Scuderia. JC will have I don't believe will be going for another lap. We see Neo, who will be the next driver to set a lap time, but was 2 tenths down at the end of sector 2. Can they make the extra time in that final run? But it's going to be, they got to find a good 3 tenths on Viculi to make sure they can get inside the top 10 for the provisional times up to the line. Just 1,000th off their own personal best, and that is P11 at best for the Mercedes. Up to the line comes Gary to start his flying lap. Soda comes up to the line, P12, 10.5 for the McLaren. You will not be happy with that one. Marchmeister will start his flying lap with JPS coming up to the line. Where does the Mercedes put himself? Puts itself P4 ahead of David with a 1 minute 9.5. That is very good stuff from the Mercedes driver. We will next see I believe the Red Bull of Gary Gayer, who will be the next driver to set a lap time going through turn 8 and now turn 9. Can the Red Bull get themselves closer to Shoot Fizzle and potentially towards Speed Queen? Speed Queen finished their session at 9.2 for the Red Bull. Is that must be Gary's target? If not, the fastest time session from Aston Martin, fastest sector 2 according to our timing sheet. Can Gary get close enough to that Aston Martin 6 tenths off in his previous best. Can he get enough time in that final sector as go up to the line closest to the pit was possible? A 9.3 puts himself P3, but a bit of a better gap to what they had previously. Marchmeister pushed down outside the top 10 and then puts himself into P5, and 9.6 from the Aston Martin, not the Aston Martin, from the Haas, and that puts himself into the top 5. Shoot, Vissel goes even faster with a 8.8. That is a very good time there from the Aston Martin, who takes pole position for the main race. He done it in the sprint and he's done it again in the feature, but with a bigger gap this time of 4/10 of a second. Shoot on pole ahead of Speed Queen and Gary, same as what we had in the sprint qualifying. JPS in P4 with Marchmeister in P5, David in P6 with Marcel in P7. Yes, JC in P8, and Kelly P9, followed by the two Williams brothers of Ripsicola and Quackmelly in P10 and P11, Vekuli in P12, and this guy Neo in P13. We're going to see Soda in 14th, Wheelo in 15th, and I Am Green Gamer rounding out our grid. We'll be having a brief break, a brief intermission for the between now and the race, just so I can catch my breath. We're back shortly, but I've just been told that apparently even Shoot could go faster because he ran out of fuel on the straight. So that shows how much pace he has here. We'll see whether he can hold that in the race. We're just going to take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back as we're just ending the formation lap now. As we're about to get underway for the 36 lap race that is ahead of us. We've got Shoot Fizzle on pole position ahead of Speed Queen, ahead of Gary Gator. We're about to line up the grid now to get our five red lights underway. As we are now going to get the game ready, get our final sprint race session is gone. We've got a 36 lap race ahead of us. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. Awful camera angles, so be it, but it's lights out. Away we go. Shoot Fizzle gets away. The dream start gets away. No competition into turn 1 side by side between him. Between Gary Gator and JPS as they continue to go side by side. JPS trying to make a meal of it as we go into turn 2 and turn 3, but it's got contact there between David Marchmeister and potentially Marcel as well, as we now going to go through turn 4, 5, 6 and into turn 7. We're going to see Shoot Fizzle head up the 2 Red Bulls side by side between David and Handflap Kelly. Handflap Kelly moving up to P5. Excellent start from him, but David has got front wing damage. There's going to be opportunity there for Marchmeister, who goes up the inside into turn 9, but into turn 10 the horse has completed the move, and into P6 goes to Marchmeister, who is on a very good start here as we now go down towards the chicane. Now we're going to see Shoot 1.1 seconds lead over the 2 Red Bulls. JPS in trailing behind them, but it is all now on because we've now got I've got 35 laps for everyone to settle in. We're going to see side-by-side action potentially between the Mercedes and the Red Bull as we see David pulling to the pits with that front wing damage. A 10-second time penalty in the speed in the pit lane to boot. That is not what you ought to be doing if you are that machine. We now go into turn 3 and up towards turn 4, 5 and 6 now. Flat out runs through here as JPS is keeping quite close to that Red Bull, the 2 Red Bulls behind them. We're going to see side-by-side action though between the McLaren of Soda and the Rupsicola for P9. Rupsicola gets put off the circuit as Soda having a bit of contact there with the Williams. Damage for the McLaren as well, so that is absolutely costly, potentially causing him to understeer into the Williams, but I believe there was contact between the 2 and that ultimately drove the Williams off. We're going to go down towards the chicane now, as we can see Speed Queen trying to defend from Gary, but at the moment the championship leader of Shoot Fizzle is pulling away right now. We're going to see Gary maybe try and make a move here on Speed Queen. Not going to make too much of a meal of it. Is the Red Bull going to go side by side though between the Mercedes of Speed Queen, of JPS and the Red Bull Shoot of Speed Queen? Can JPS get through? And he does so. He does so quite cleanly. Used the opportunity of the Red Bulls trying to switch, and they were trying to make a move on that Red Bull of Gary now, trying to make his way to P2. A driver who was absolutely nowhere in the sprint race has come alive in the main race as he's now going to try and get his way by. Handpump Kelly is all over the back, trying to make their nuisance of the himself on the Red Bulls. Fighting for the constructors, the Red Bulls and the Aston Martin and the Mercedes teams. They're all trying to go for that constructors title, but they would need to get quite a few points, both the Red Bulls and the Mercedes, over the Aston Martin, who goes up the inside of Speed Queen. Handflap Kelly putting an outstanding move on the chicane. Handflap Kelly putting himself into P4, and that is what you ought to be seeing if you're Shoot Fizzle, if you have that, let alone Handflap Kelly. 3-second time penalty for David for exceeding track limits already. As he's right down the order right now. Here comes JPS. DRS flies way by ahead of Gary Gator, and that is up to P2 for the Mercedes. It's all falling apart right now for the Red Bulls, who are really beginning to struggle because now Marchmeister and Handflap Kelly are putting both of them under pressure while JPS is trying to pull away. Is this the opportunity for the Aston Martins to seal the constructors, for the Mercedes to seal P2? Because at the moment the Red Bulls are falling down right now as Handflap Kelly looks to the outside trying to make a move on Gary, as we see that actually the the Red Bulls on the mediums might be the reason why they are struggling. We currently have these are the tyres right now, Shoot Fizzle and JPS on the softs, followed by Gary on the mediums, who is not looking to have the most kind words at the end of this stint for those tyres, as we see Hamlet Kenny on the inside, bit of contact there, forces Gary off the road, and Hand Flap Kelly has unfortunately caused not just 1, 2 but 3 positions lost for the Red Bull, and now they'll be lucky to get away with any sort of damage. But here we go, can anyone make any sort of moves? We're going to see Speed Queen make his way by for P3 and P4 for Marchmeister. Bit more contact there between Marchmeister, Handflap Kelly and Gary almost turned round in all that, and luckily for him, keeps his nose out of the wall and into P6 up the inside. Contact there, that seemed like a very late lunge. These two told each other they would get a fight like this, and these two have certainly decided to fight like this. They don't want the constructors going one way or the other. They want to take it as quickly as possible. Handflap Kelly's and Gary have ultimately cost themselves any chance of a podium at the moment. Dive down the inside, goes Handflap Kelly. These two are giving an absolute spectacle to watch as they're trying to defend. Gary trying to defend now. More contact between the two. DRS for Handflap Kelly as we go down towards the chicane. Is there opportunity for the Aston Martin? No, there isn't, as they both now keep it clean in this chicane as we go on to the end of lap 5. This is all allowing yes to the J to the C to fight. Meanwhile, we're going to see Soda fight Aaron Green Gamer and Vekuli and Quick Millie all trying to fight for the points positions of P8, 9 and 10. 4 drivers, 3 points paying finishes. We're going to see as well Handflap Kelly dive up the inside of Gary. They're going to go to this cutback. They're going to still go side by side. These two definitely do not want to crash. They're still side by side. Almost more contact, and more contact as we go through turn 3. And that has ultimately cost them even more time, not just to the guys in front, but just JC behind, who is almost in DRS range. As these two consistently fighting, Gary almost loses it on the curb. Very lucky to get away with that one. In all of this, by the way, Soda and Vekuli side by side into turn 8 and turn 9. Soda with damage. This is ultimately costing Vekuli, who hasn't got damage. Potential cutback there from Vekuli. Excellent stuff there from the V-carb. But Soda just defending enough DRS from the RB. Trying to make a move, but can't do so. Soda defends for P8, but these guys are all fighting absolutely hammer for tong as we go into turn 13. Can the McLaren try and get any sort of defence done? Bit of a wide moment there for I Am Green Gamer, trying to follow on. There's a bit of grass there for Soda. Not sure, you don't want to be out there, son, because here comes Vekuli, here comes Green Gamer. They're side by side as we now go into the hairpin of turn 1. Those two have made it past the McLaren, and Green Gamer has made 2 positions in 1 corner, as that Haas has done everything right there. As these 5 drivers now, as Marcel's joined the party, are going to continue fighting hard. Meanwhile, speaking of continuing to fight hard, here comes JC trying to make a move. Not just 1, but 2 drivers. He absolutely sent down Gary. Got by Handflap Kelly while he was having a little bit of fun with the grass. But Gary caught napping there. As here goes the Alpine flying through. I said that these guys will continue to cost each other time at the expense of the constructors, but what's going to matter at the expense of constructors when you're going to end up almost out the points when it comes to the end of the race if you continue to fight like that? We're going to see yes, JC now trying to pull away. He's got 7/10 gap to Gary Gayer. Handflap Kelly is just behind them as they're going to go side by side. They're going to weave. They're going to try and defend. These two, they're not going to give each other an inch. They said a couple races ago, they're going to fight like this. Pushed wide. Gary sent right off the circuit by Handflap Kelly. I guess this is war. This is what they're saying, because now Gary's fell right into the train behind him now. As I said, this is going to absolutely cost both them time. Gary has decided to go off the circuit and let every single one of these drivers through, and at the moment this is not what Gary would have wanted. I believe he I don't know if he had any sort of oversteer there, but that has ultimately cost him. We're going to go to battle for P2 now. It looks like Speed Queen has got over the tyres and is now trying to catch back up to JPS, who's 1.9 seconds behind Shoot Fizzle, bearing in mind. Shoot, not quite far away yet. As far away as we expected, at least. March in P4 behind the three podium sitters in front of him, but now you're going to see if Speed Queen can make a move on JPS to the outside. Go Speed Queen, trying to make a move, launches it late on the brakes, but JPS is going to have the proper line, and Speed Queen just about getting by. Excellent stuff there from the Red Bull driver as they move their way up to P2, and now has their championship rival in the sights of their visor. We're now going to see whether the Red Bull can catch Shoot Fizzle, who is on the soft compound of tyres in comparison to the mediums of Speed Queen. Speed Queen going to be absolutely on it at this stage as drivers begin to come into the pits, like Soda and Gary both entering the pit lane. Is their opportunity for them to come back in this race. We now see as well, we're going to see Marcel Vekuli and Guy and Green Gamer. This battle, which was 5 drivers, now 3, was absolutely mental as it was. We're now going to see Marcel trying to find his way through the Haas, trying to get away from Vekuli in the RB. Is their opportunity for Marcel to get by. He's currently 4 tenths behind the Haas in front of him, but at the moment it looks like it is going to be a difficult task nonetheless. Marcel DRS for I'm Green Gamer. He's going to try and make a move, but someone else who's going to make a move is Handflap Kelly. He's gone up the inside of Yes JC. He's made his way into P5, and that is a very nice one from him. We're going to see Green Gamer in the Haas and Marcel continue to remain stagnant, but JC has to take advantage of Handflap Kelly, who had a bit of an issue in the hairpin of turn 3. Now go through 4, 5 and 6. They're side by side all the way up to turn 7, but Handflap Kelly just keeps the move, just keeps it defended, and that is what you wanted to see if you are the Aston Martin of Shoot Fizzle in P1. You want to see these constructors points, and he's seeing that Handflap Kelly is doing absolutely phenomenally as we go into turn 10 now, exiting turn 10, but that damage for the Aston Martin is going to prove costly. To the outside goes SJC, flies by before even getting to the breaking point of the chicane of 11 and 12. But someone else who's going to be also fighting is the side-by-side action of Marcel and Green Gamer. Green Gamer goes wide and gets onto the gravel. That's going to cost him not just 1 but 2 positions as Vekuli gets by for P8. Marcel up to P7 and Green Gamer down to P9. But is this going to be the opportunity here for Vekuli as we're going to see side-by-side action in the distance between JC and Handflap Kelly, but nothing continuing on from there as Green Gamer just not able to do anything at this time. As we're going to go into turn 2 and turn 3, can the Haas get his way back by Vekuli, or is it too little, too late? We're going to see as Marcel is going to try and pull away from these two, but at the moment the tyres getting on, and the softs should start diving off, but someone who's dived off is Marcel, who's gone round on the curb and grass, and that has ultimately cost him, because now he's right down 4-5 seconds back and now on mediums that aren't nearly going to be as happy and certainly a bit more burnt up. However, someone who has been burning through his tyres a bit early on in the race has now been caught back by Shoot Fizzle. It is Shoot Fizzle by Speed Queen. Speed Queen looking to the inside, going to make a move for the lead. Up the inside goes Speed Queen. Cut back from Shoot Fizzle. Are they going to be able to defend it as we go into turn 2? And they're going to still be side by side. Swoops around the outside. Contact between Speed Queen and Shoot Fizzle as they lines collide, but it is going to be opportunity for JPS to try and make a move on the Aston Martin, but in the moment Shoot Fizzle keeps that one nice and firmly safe as we go into turn 8, turn 7. Now into turn 8, can JPS try and make his way back by Shoot Fizzle, both on the softs, with the median of Speed Queen now leading the race. We thought it was going to be one and done once Shoot Fizzle had got away early on, and he has not left that one. Gary has retired in the pit lane, got a 10-second time penalty, retired in the pits, and that is Gary's day done. And unfortunately for him, not what we want to be seeing on lap 12, and Speed Queen leads the way with Shoot in second and Hanfap Kelly in P6. There's going to be points swaying away of the Aston Martin squad. We're going to go down towards turn 1 for the and end lap 12, start lap 13, as it just a brief moment of silence between the race leaders. We're going to quickly actually go to the battle for P12 between this guy Neo, Constant Soda 368 and Rupsi Cola. These three drivers. As Rupsi Cola loses the back end there, and that is not what you want to be doing if you're the Williams, because you're now going to add yourself even more tyre wear. Green Gamer is now side by side there with Vekuli. They're going to go into turn 1. Green Gamer trying to make a move but couldn't do so, and that has left Vekuli with P7 at the moment. But someone who is all over the back of someone else is the Alpine. He's trying to defend against Hanfap Kelly. He's trying to go around the outside of turn 7. That was almost perfect, but couldn't make it stick. Meanwhile, Soda is going to go up the inside into turn 1. There's battles left, right and centre, ladies and gentlemen. It is not going to be over yet. As Soda up to P12 ahead of Neo, but he does have damage, and that might become costly on that front right tyre, which will become a bit more difficult to control because those temps will be increasing because you're having to push it harder. As we now go into turn 7, Neo trying to make something work into turn 8. He's up the inside. Soda's gone wide. He's got onto the curbing. Very lucky not to go dragged all the way to the wall there, but Neo back up to P12 as we see everyone begin to come into the pit lane. Hanfap Kelly and yes JC 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that has ultimately going to be a significant cost come the end of the race, if they because drivers will now be pitting for different sets of tyres, and drivers will be ultimately trying to take advantage of that. We're going to see Rupsi Cola try and make a move on Soda as we go down the straight into turn 1. Can Soda defend from the Williams of Rupsi Cola, who looks to the inside, takes the inside line? He's going to have it all the way around, looks to have the better tyre grip as well as we go into turn 1, and the Williams makes his way into P12, and that is very much the opportunity he wanted to take. We've now onto lap 14 of the Grand Prix. We're going to see Speed Queen look to stay out. JPS will come into the pit lane. Wonder where he'll come out in comparison, as Marcel has actually spun it once more, the same place he done a couple laps ago, cost him damage this time, and that is not what you want for the Scuderia, who's just come back onto the circuit. The McLaren of Soda is going to have to try and attack him now, both of them with the same damage of the same part of the front wing. As we now go into the chicane, Marcel trying to defend from the McLaren, but those mediums are will absolutely not be happy. Soda on the hards goes wide at the chicane and goes onto the gravel. That has cost him DRS and a couple seconds to boot, and that is the McLaren remaining in P13 for a little longer. Marcel comes into the pit lane. I wonder if he makes that his day done. Yes, he does. He retire from the session of Ferrari. Not happy with this race. Same with Soda, who comes into the pit lane and retires. Both of them not having the greatest of races, but we'll see whether who else can get points. That is now McLaren and Ferrari both fighting for trying not be last in constructors, with Alpine, who are currently have a guy in 5th place of Yes JC. And at the moment, it's going to become a battle for the wooden spoon between the Scuderia and the Papaya squad. We're going to see who is that? It is Neo and Rupsi Cola currently fighting over. JPS is retired. JPS has retired on the exit of the final corner, and that. Yeah, he's gone at the wall. What has happened there to the Mercedes? And that has caused a safety car. March would be very careful where this safety car is, and that ultimately has left Speed Queen with the lead coming out of that, because Speed Queen will have the lead because he had, but unfortunately for Speed Queen, she is on the. I'm left to work, so I'm not exactly sure how JPS has retired there, but that is very unfortunate there for the Mercedes. Speed Queen will now come into the pit lane, but will have to put on the hard compound of tyres to go to the end, because those softs will not last 20 laps, I do believe. Otherwise, they'll have to put in an almighty stint. Meanwhile, everyone will now come into the pit lane who hasn't stopped and put on a new set of tyres, or just put on a new set of tyres to go to the end on. Softs for Speed Queen, looking to be bold, try and get use the tyre advantage of the softs earlier on to try and pull away. Now it's day done. The opportunity now for Shoot Fizzle for him to try and get something to work for Speed. Try and get something to go long now, because at the moment he's on a couple lap old mediums, 3 lap old mediums, so those tyres will be saved for the next couple of laps come the end of the safety car period. He would have pitted at that point anyway for the mediums, so nothing changes. He just has maybe a little bit more tyre life come the end of the race. But Speed Queen on the softs will not be having those sort of luxuries, and ultimately those tyres will not be the most happy, maybe hoping for another safety car come the later stages of the race to put on a new set of softs and maybe go and fight Shoot Fizzle to the end in a head-to-head. We've got a lot of waiting between now and the safety car restart. Currently, our top remaining drivers are Speed Queen, Shoot Fizzle, Marchmeister, Yes JC, Handflap Kelly, Vakuli, I'm Green Gamer, this guy Neo, and Rubsicola and David rounding out our top 10 with Relo and Quick Melly still in the race. JPS, Marcel, Soda and Gary all having retired, with those 4, well, 3 of them of their own retirements, and they could have and 2 of them were only in the last lap, so they could have certainly stayed in this race and taken a safety car to get themselves back into it. But the day is done. And actually, Speed Queen comes into the pit lane. Why? What is Speed Queen doing? Going on to a new set of mediums. So they've decided that they want to go take that lap and then go to the end on a new set of mediums, because they certainly can do so. A little bit newer than what the drivers in front will have. However, is ultimately cost them and put them down in P6, and that will mean Shoot Fizzle will have a clear run. In the sense, unless Marchmeister can do anything, because Handflap Kelly will be defending for the for his teammate. So we'll see whether Handflap Kelly can defend from Speed Queen, Vakuli, Green Gamer, and the rest behind. We'll see as we go on. Jay, since you're in chat, if you're still there, can you tell me exactly what happened? Because I'm a bit confused how far you ended up down the pit lane, because not pit lane, the main straight. Was it a lot of back end, or was it something else entirely? I'm not entirely sure. Can you, if you're still here, can you explain it to me? Because I was a bit surprised to see your car end up that far down. So, with that in mind, we're going to have everyone coming up to the back of the train now. Safety car will be in this lap. The sooner the better if you're Speed Queen, because you really want to get through this pack as quickly as possible and give you enough laps to catch Shoot Fizzle. 10-second time penalty for Marchmeister, 3 seconds for Quick Melly and David. We'll see whether that has any lasting effect later in the race. Safety car's in. When does Shoot go? Shoot goes now as he goes down towards turn one, has a clear run into turn one, but Marchmeister is going to try and have to defend from Handflap Kelly, who dives it up the inside of the Haas. Can they make the opportunity stick? They're still side by side as we go into turn 2 and 3, but the Haas trying to defend from the Aston Martin, and around the outside goes Handflap Kelly. They're going to contact, and they're both in the wall. Handflap Kelly's out of the session, mother safety car, and Marchmeister has damaged both of them. Costed by that. Aston Martin. Oh, Handflap Kelly beat. Damn, that is ultimately so unfortunate for Aston Martin, for both of them, really. Both, I mean, such good races, significant points, and that is how it ends for Handflap Kelly. And down the order is March with damage. Has now got a Speed Queen 2 positions closer, and a safety car restart to deal with once more, with Vakuli and Green Gamer between them. Rupsicola up to P5, Speed Queen in 4th. Yeah, 11 drivers to go still in this race, and 16 laps. What will the drivers decide to do? Well, Shoot, I believe, will just stay out for the time being. Top 3 all stay out. Speed Queen as well. Rupsicola, who will come into the pits, he'll be Marchmeister, will come into the pits, and same with Quick Melee. I don't believe anyone else will at the moment, so it's just them two coming into the pit lane. But Handflap Kelly out of the race in unfortunate circumstances. March, who was in a podium position, is down the order now. On JPS's incident, I took the corner as too tight and corrected and hit the wall, outside wall, but I don't understand how I lost my left front wheel. Yeah, that's very unfortunate from Jay. Unfortunate. You were doing very well in that race as well, and unfortunately, it's led to other events that have involved Speed Queen and not Speed Queen, Handflap Kelly and Marchmeister losing out on quite significant, quite high positions for that, and crucial points for both constructors and drivers. So I'm not unlucky for not just you, Jay. It's just very unlucky for March and Handflap Kelly as well, who got caught up in this, now causing this safety car. We've now got about a lap of waiting, and at this point, we've now got these drivers on the mediums, which are Shoot Fizzle, Vakuli on 6-lap-old mediums, as well as Wheelo in P9, with P5 Rupsicola on 4-lap-old mediums, 2-lap-old mediums for JC and Speed Queen, who haven't actually turned 3 racing corners before it's a safety car. So those tyres will be looking nice and healthy. Green Gamer on hards, now 6-lap-old hards, followed by this guy Neo and David on 5-lap-old hards. March and Quick Melee on soft compound of tyres, but I wonder if Quick is going for a change to the mediums. Yes, they are. Fair enough, Jay. Hope you're feeling better soon, man. I hope you're feeling better. Have a good night, alright, man. Good luck next. See you next week, and good luck with that one as well. So, with 11 drivers left to go, March has decided to go off circuit because Wheelo and him are having silly buggers. So, I don't know what's going on there. But we're on lap 21 of 36. Shoot leads the way ahead of Vakuli. Just a quick look at 13 positions gained for I'm Green Gamer, 10 positions gained for Vakuli, 6 positions gained for Wheelo and this guy Neo, 5 for Rupsicola, 2 for JC. Shoot and Quick Melee in the same positions where they started. 5 positions lost for Marchmeister and 2 lost for Speed Queen and Wheelo. But that can all change with the safety car coming in this lap. Shoot Fizzle will lead the way. Can he hold on to it? Quick sip of the J2O, and we are getting underway. We are now going to go around sector 3 and get ready for the hopefully last safety car restart of the session. We're going to go around the final braking point and now round the bank in when does Shoot decide to go. because he needs to get away going soon, because he don't want to get any opportunity for the drivers behind to cause him any sort of issue. He goes now. Is it the right time? Because Vekuli isn't able to do much as we go into turn 1, but there's going to be a bit of a battle there between the drivers behind. Yes, JC and Rupsi Cola and Speed Queen all side by side. It's 3 wide into turn 3. There's another bit of contact there. That's Wheelo and David in the wall. Wheelo is out of the race. David very lucky to get away with that one, and that's a VSC. Wheelo's out, and that is very unlucky for the RB and Sauber getting caught up there. And that has now left us with 10 drivers left in the race. Mark Price up to P7, getting ahead of Neo in all that. But I thought there was going to be a bit more, going to be something to end the night of Rupsi, Speed Queen and Yes JC, because then they were 3 wide into turn 3. Very lucky, all 3 of them to get away with that. Well, I say lucky, skilled to get away with that. But VSC has put a halt to things a little bit longer. When will we go again? Shoot Fizzle currently got Vekuli for company, only a couple tenths behind, with them now going green as drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC for Green Gamer. That is absolute for a driver who was on the podium, as now it's completely ruined his race in this late stage as you now go into turn 1. Green Gamer will come in and serve the drive-through. Luckily, it's the shortest pit lane on the calendar, so maybe he can do something if there is something like a safety car later on. Lock up there for Speed Queen into turn 3. Not really able to do much. Is Rootsy Cola. They're quite far back at this time, but we're now going to go through turn 5, 6, and into turn 7. And to see if JC can try and make a move on Rupsi Cola. They can't do at this point, but these they're going to still go going to look to go side by side potentially into turn 10, maybe down towards the chicane. But the Alpine is all over the back of that Williams as we go down towards the chicane for the 23rd time. It is opportunity for JC. No, it isn't, as Rupsi Cola just keeping ahead enough of that Alpine. But Speed Queen up to P3. He's got to now try and get across for Cooley before fighting Shoot Fizzle. We're going to see as we go down towards turn 1. Can that Red Bull get close enough to the sister team? No, they cannot, because Vekuli has got DRS on Shoot Fizzle, which has closed them back towards Shoot Fizzle for the time being. But Aston Martin looks supremely quick through the corners. And now Speed Queen is going to go all over the back of the V-Carb. Is there opportunity for the Red Bull to try and make a move as quickly as possible? Because they need to get past, because the Aston Martin is starting to pull away. But it is not a chance at the moment as we go through turn 7 and into turn 8. They may be looking for a mistake from the RB. But the Red Bull is looking to maybe play... try not play games, just try and get on with it. Takes a wider line on entry to try and get a better line on exit. We're going to see the Red Bull get closer and closer and closer and closer, but is it the opportunity for the Red Bull as they go up the inside in the chicane? Speed Queen through for P2 as Vekuli stopping any chance of Ripsy Cola trying to get by for P3. This is the battle for the final podium spot now. Rupsi Cola is all over the back of the V-Carb, who's got DRS as well, so we go through the banking, but the Williams is all over the back as they go side by side into turn 1. Is there opportunity for the Williams to take the podium spot? Up the inside goes Rupsi Cola, makes the move, stick, that's into the podiums, go the Williams. We haven't seen Rupsi Cola up there all race, but is it the time and the opportunity for the Williams to take a podium in their home Grand Prix? Vekuli's now got to try and attack on the Williams, but has also got to defend from JC, who has looked very quick all race in the Alpine, who has was on the podium at I don't know if it was on the podium, but it might have been on the podium at one point this race. He had so many different drivers on that second and third step on the podium. Up the inside goes the Alpine of JC, trying to make the move onto P4, but the V-Carb will have the run into the chicane. Both will have DRS. They're going to go side by side. A little bit of contact there off front wing to rear wing, but it didn't cause too much of an effect. JC had to back out of that one. and it's remained in P5. March is closing in on them though. This is going to be a good opportunity for JC to try and get by Vekuli, who's now only while has DRS is 1.1 seconds behind Rupsikola in the Williams to the inside. The Alpine goes, has that slipstream, has the DRS, has the late under brakes, has the move done. The Alpine up to P4, but March is all over the back of these guys now as he's closing in lap after lap, and he's trying to get to as close as he possibly can to the two in front of him. He take back what was a P4 position at the time, and was P3. He's got to try and get to Rupsikola later on as well, but the Haas is all over the back of the RB as we go into turn 9 and into 10. Will the Haas get by at the chicane? Has tried to cut as far to the inside as possible, but caught on that curb, lost the back end a little bit. That cost him because he didn't have a chance to go for a move into the chicane, and March not going to be happy with that one because that was very, very unsteady from the Haas driver. We now go into the final corner, and the DRS will be for both drivers though. Vekuli managed to keep DRS to JC. As we now go into the turn 1, nothing can really be done at this point, but JC will need to be pulling away before, as quickly as before March Rice can get by Vekuli, because that Haas has got that soft compound tyres on. He goes late on the brakes to try and get an undercut, get the run on the exit turn 3. Because now we go through turn 4, turn 5 and turn 6. Is there opportunity for the Haas to get through? No, there isn't, not at this point, but into turn 7 we go. The Haas taking a bit of a wider line, but it might have ultimately cost them because Vekuli has pulled away a little bit more. Iron Green Game and the other Haas has caused a VSC. I wonder what has happened with him. He's got caught, I believe, may have got caught on that curb, lost his entire front wing, or maybe spun entirely. And that has completely ended the Haas's race in terms of chance for anything other than 10th. At this point, it is very, very unfortunate. The Green Gamer was in the podium at one point, and it has been a struggle for him. VSC deployed, so we'll be getting back underway very, very shortly. Is there opportunity for Vekuli and JC to get by? JC has actually let by 10-second time penalty Speed Queen for speeding in the pit lane. That is crucial. Why is Speed Queen even pit in the first place is my question, but that 10-second has completely cost Speed Queen. Vekuli have a drive through for speed on the VSC. That has caused damage to JC trying to brake to get under the VSC Delta, and JC has now got quite a bit of front wing damage. 10-second time penalty for Marchmeister for not ignoring yellow flags, and Quick Melly's up to P5, Rupsikola up to P2, Vekuli up to P3, JC up to P4, March down to P6, Speed Queen down to P9. Oh my god, it's all kicking off at the minute. As we see, Quick now trying to defend from March. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. Can Quick Melly try and defend from the Haas driver, who has a 10-second time penalty? There's been quite a few penalties. Vekuli's got that drive through as well. So JC now 2 seconds behind, got that damage. This could be the battle for the podium. This is opportunity for 2-3 for Williams. As we now go into the first corner, Vekuli speeding in the pit lane gets 10 seconds to boot as well. His day has gone from bad to worse. We now got March up into the podiums, but that penalty means he has to get a 7-second gap to the Williams of Quick Melly. If you're Rupsikola, do you hold slow down and potentially hold up March, or do you keep trying to just keep going flat out and hope that March does not catch you on those softer compound of tyres? As he will now be a 4.1 second gap to close down, but that 10-second time penalty has ultimately left him vulnerable to that Quick Melly, who could potentially take a podium for Williams. Younger brother of Rupsikola will be absolutely buzzing right now, and at the moment the two natives of the country of the Netherlands look like they have the best chance right now at podium, as we now go through the end of lap 29 to start lap 30. We haven't got an end to the battles yet. Neo, Speed Queen will now continue to fight. Speed Queen looks to the inside to make a move on the Mercedes and makes their way up to P6. Fastest lap of the race for Speed Queen. Is not going to be giving up yet for the Red Bull, who's currently got that 10-second time penalty themselves, and at the moment will prop them down in P7. One position, yes, but they need to try and get by a couple more drivers and try and get as far away as physically possible. But with 6 laps to go and the gaps that there are, it is almost impossible to make any major dividends. Yes, they're on newer tyres. Yes, they're on the softest compound, but it is absolutely, it is a tall order to do in 6 laps. They're going to try though and try and catch David, who's got a 3-second time penalty themselves, who's only just a second ahead of them. As we go into the chicane, Speed Queen has got all the work in the world and not enough time to do it. Shu has everything under control. 5.2 second lead over Rupsikola, and just one hand on that championship. David goes to the inside. Speed Queen tries to make a move, and Speed Queen does it to the outside. David not putting up too much of a fight, knowing that time penalty is still in hand, maybe looking to try and keep within 7 seconds of Speed Queen. Lock up there from the Red Bull as they try and hunt down Quick Millie now for P4, and maybe get past Marchmeister, who has the same number of penalties, so it could get them by at least 1 position on track. But so much work to do in so little time to do it. That Red Bull will not be the happiest bunny as we go into turn 10. Can Speed Queen get by? It's very much a race against the clock, if anything, for Speed Queen, because you need to get 10 seconds gap to 7-second gap to Quick Millie and then and David, just to make sure they're back on the podium after catching another 2.2 seconds to Quick Millie. So 9.2 seconds to the Williams in 5 laps. That is just under 2 seconds a lap, and you've got to overtake the Williams as well, who at the moment isn't exactly slowing down. Bear in mind, those softs will be pushed to the absolute limit as we go into turn 4, 5 and 6. It is the first time this race has genuinely been quiet, but it's not the first time. This race will slow down. March will be looking to try and defend that position for its life, because they are on the same penalties as Speed Queen. So it's Speed Queen's got to try and get past 2 drivers and get a 7-second gap. And time is not in the hands of the Red Bull. We're going to keep going on about it for a while. There's a Red Bull, RB that is off. That's Vekuli. Vekuli is off the circuit. And has gone into the barrier, maybe caught the curb in, and that has caused a VSC, another VSC, which is ultimately going to cost Speed Queen even more time and even more opportunity for them to get by the Williams and the Haas. And as we head on to lap 32, with 5 laps to go now, I believe, actually. Oh, sorry, no, why is it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's different. I'm very surprised they've actually added that, so it changes per driver. So, with 4 laps to go, Speed Queen has, just a little bit less gap, but at the moment, those tyres will not be the most happy by the end of the race, and they'll be screaming, and Speed Queen will be pushing to the absolute limit to try and do so. Bear in mind, Rupsikola is 7 seconds up the road himself, so we'll be trying to defend from Speed Queen if they come by. If you're Rupsikola, you've got a choice to make to help your younger brother if Speed Queen gets too close, and try and get them the podium. We'll see. Drive-through penalty for David. That is honestly how this race is going to go. This guy Neo's also got a drive-through penalty, so both of them will be downhill just in a moment. As Neo has retired on track, I believe, and that is their day done. So at the moment, the worst Speed Queen's going to do, as things stand, is P5. But DRS for the Red Bull. Quick Melly not going to be able to do too much as that Red Bull flies by into turn 1. Now, it is a case of 3 laps. Can they gain 7 seconds? David, 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, decides to retire as well. At this point, if you're in those points-paying positions, you take the points. This is what I don't get, is that you've got a couple... Yeah, you're going to be quite far behind, but you can still take points. And every position really matters. It doesn't matter if you're fighting for the championship or not. Take an opportunity to take the best position you can possibly get, not just in the race but in the standings. If you can get points, happy days. If you're still out the points, finish the race, use an opportunity to learn. That's what is the most frustrating thing. Just use it as an opportunity to learn. We now see Speed Queen trying to hunt down Marchmeister. Both them drivers have the same number of penalties, but Speed Queen has the fresher compound of tyres with 2 laps, a lap to go for these guys. Oh no, 2 laps. I don't know why it didn't change earlier for them drivers, but oh well. As up to the line, start their penultimate lap for Speed Queen. 1.1 seconds is the gap to Marchmeister. 2.5 ahead is Rupsicola at the moment. The Williams of Quick Melee is 2 seconds behind them. 5 seconds is all that Speed Queen needs, but March is going to have to defend. He's going to defend like an absolute lion as we go through turn 7 and turn 8. As we now go into turn 9, so Speed Queen is getting closer and closer and closer before trying to make an attack. They're gonna have DRS as we go into the chicane, but March is going to not make it an easy time of things as we go into the chicane. Lock up there from March, but they're both on the softs, but the older softs are to the harsh, but they're going to try and defend the best they possibly can. At this point, we're on to the final lap of the race. March going to not have the DRS, while Speed Queen is going to try and fly by to the inside the Haas chooses. Is that the opportunity for the Haas to fly by? March trying to make a defence and unfortunately falls out of P3 on track. It is now a case of Speed Queen trying to keep on the podium. Has got to gain a couple seconds at the moment. It is going to be close, considering Quick Melee is on a significantly older medium, 19 lap old mediums. If the young man from the Netherlands can keep hold of that position, that is something to be proud about. But he's still got, it's about 4 seconds, 5 seconds at the moment. The Speed Queen, 2 seconds is the gap. Rupsicola, if you're gonna do any full defending, you're gonna have to slow up Speed Queen if you want to do anything. We're gonna go around the final corner for the final time. Here comes Shoot Fizzle, goes up to the line. It is another race win and an extension of the championship lead. Shoot Fizzle wins the Dutch Grand Prix on round 12. Up to the line goes Speed Queen. Is that gonna be P2 on track? It is not. I believe it might have been. They're both very, very close. Up to the line. Marchmeister will finish. Podium for Quick Melee. That is a 2-3 for Quick Melee and Rupsicola. And nay, the Williams make it a double podium. Speed Queen 1.5 seconds away from a podium in the end. And that is P4 for the Red Bull. Marchmeister P5, JC P6 and P7 for the other half of Green Gamer. Shoot Fizzle though extends his championship lead. Congratulations to the Aston Martin. I'm gonna have to get some interviews in because this was an absolutely exciting race. Interviews, time to get the interview buttons out. But congratulations. And is it So congratulations to our 3 podium sitters. Street Fizzle extends his lead in the championship lead. And that is excellent stuff there from the Aston Martin. Just maximised today and has gained himself 20, I think, more points. I'm not actually sure. Hold on, let me have a look. How many points? Because did they get fast lap? No, they wouldn't have. It would have gone to Speed Queen. No, they gone even faster. So it actually went to Gary. Gary got the fastest. Oh no, you can. No, I mean that's the wrong session. Speed Queen got fastest lap. So 24 points gained from Shoot Fizzle in an excellent race. Let's see. So we've now got Shoot Fizzle. I'm going to pull the man of the hour into the session, into the channel. Give me 1 second. Hello, Shoot. Hello. So I need to make it so you can actually be heard. 1 second. Yeah, a second. Why is it not coming up? There we go. Can you speak now quickly for me?
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations on another race win. How are you feeling after that one, mate?
Oh, fucking brilliant. All I need to do now is outscore Speed Queen now, because I did the maths before this race. And now Gary's definitely out of it. It's just me and Speed Queen now.
Yeah.
I need to outscore on her at Britain, which is a really good track for me.
Yeah,
but I'm really hoping it's wet.
I mean,
Ice it up a bit.
I mean, it would absolutely spice things up. You've had it under control this whole evening, to be honest. You pole in the sprint, race win in the sprint race, and then pole again and a race win. Just maximise today. You said you're gonna do well. You said you're gonna dominate. Your vision came true. Is that are you proud of that, or is that just like you were just certain, you just knew it was going to happen?
I knew it was going to happen, especially after the sprint when Gary DNF'd and his confidence went. He just went. It went down. You can tell from the race as well.
Yeah, you could absolutely tell. He did not look like he was the same driver that was in even the sprint race, let alone the weeks prior. So unfortunately, he ended up with a retirement. So with your championship, with one hand on the trophy, do you go into Silverstone thinking you're going to maximise, or do you feel like it's going to be just play it safe?
I'm going to maximise. I always do every weekend. If I look at the points, so obviously I'll get an extra 24, so I'll be on 167.
Yeah.
Speed Queen will be on 4. Where did Speed Queen finish, sorry?
P4, so that would be...
That's 10 points, isn't it?
Yeah, 10 plus a fastest
14
lap
points.
Plus a fastest lap as well.
So 138, if it's correct, if my maths is correct.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I have... How much point gap do I have? 168... 20.
Yeah, so...
I have 20 point gap.
Yeah, so it is a massive gap at the moment as well, in that sense.
I just need to outscore Speed Queen by 1 point.
And to be champion in a race that I can't even commentate over as well, of all races.
No!
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You better be.
Oh, well, yeah.
I know you're in this channel. Fucking speak. Say hi.
He does... He said he would pop in, so hello. I've just been told he will be here next week, so we'll have a conversation.
Oh yes, yes.
You'll have.
Put me out in Brazil, 100% race. to commentating me winning the championship.
Oh,
Beautiful.
How full circle. So, heading into let's finish off with the question I always ask you. Heading into next week, are you confident, or is or are you going to be? Is it more of a struggle circuit in Netherlands?
Netherlands is definitely my strongest. Silverstone is top 3 though.
So it's another race.
But I have like 3 setups I'm choosing between.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Obviously, high downforce as always.
Well, just
because I get that speed during the corners and I love it.
Yeah, we could tell with your speed today, like the speed you're carrying in some of the corners was absolutely immense. But congratulations today on this race win. One hand and the trophy. Good luck next week. If you win the championship next week, I'll give you an interview after the final race. Because it's probably best. I'll give you one. Copcast will probably give you one anyway, but I'll give you one anyway just because I want to have a talk with you. If you do win it,
I also think I'll be winning Baku as well anyway.
So you're a very confident man. That's what we love to hear. So good luck next week. And yeah, just enjoy this win. Congratulations on that one, mate.
Yeah. In a bit,
mate. I need to pull you out. Right, let me pull in both the Williams drivers quickly, and then we will carry on with the vote. Let me quickly. Hello, Williams brothers. Would you? Can you both hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? How are you both feeling after a double podium for Williams and a podium together? How are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Absolutely.
I was shaking in the race.
I mean, it was on because you were so you both were so consistent as well, and you both just kept your head down and kept on it. Rupsy, you had something happen in the early stages of the race. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, in the early stages, I had a shit start. Then I got a little incident with TikTok. Yes, lost a bit of my wing, and then I went to the outside of Concert Soda, and yeah, he touched me, I believe, a little bit. So I got wide, got in the gravel. Then I boxed for hards. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so you put down that strategy of just don't quit, because a lot of them drivers that race after incidents decided to retire, and you just didn't give up, and it certainly paid off today as well. Did you both I don't know if you both thought this was a possibility, but did you guys feel confident heading into this race?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. Melly, could you like to tell me why you felt confident? Is this a strong track for you?
Yeah, it's just a track. I don't feel strong, but I raced many times.
It's your home circuit, so I guarantee so
Yeah.
it also probably had
Exactly.
that extra motivation as well. Rupsy, you said you didn't. Did you not feel confident? Did you say?
No, I've been practicing wheel this whole week. So I haven't been practicing on my controller at all. So yeah, I'll be driving on wheel next week, I think.
Fair enough. I mean, it. Well, heading into next week. Speaking of next week, we've got Silverstone. Rupsy, do you feel confident about that one?
Yeah, I have practiced Converstone on my wheel quite a lot right now, so should be able to not be as fast as I am right now, but should be able to just be with the most people I am with now.
And Melly, do you feel confident about that one, or do you feel like it is a bit of a struggle track for you?
Yeah, I feel confident. We practice very much with each other on Silverstone because we like the track.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So, Good, well done on the podium, both of you. Congratulations. I'm glad it actually happened for both of you to have it at the same race as well. So, congratulations to you both getting your home race podium as well. And good luck next week, okay? I'll just disconnect you both from the channel.
Bye-bye.
But cheers, mate. Bye. So, thank you all for watching. I won't be here next week, but a returning man as a surprised commentator will be returning in the podcast. We will be more than welcome to have him. He will be taking over my duties for the evening next week, so don't miss it. It is the British Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season, and then we head to the Baku City Street Circuit for the final round, where I'll be there, and we'll see whether next week or the week after the title will be wrapped up, both drivers and constructors. We hope to see you all then. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.